going on.
Thanks for saying no, now saying
Yeah.
yes.
Basically, as I said on the phone, this wasn't only for to show you the work that I do, and if there's any way that I could help you out specifically, but also to help me expand my business, so to say, and then just kind of go through how Mutual of Omaha has over 700 associations with over 6 million members nationwide, and we really, it's kind of a win-win situation for both sides type of deal. And just we go through and say, so if you would be willing to kind of give me some people that you know or love, that would really be beneficial to my practice and what I do. So if you know any teachers, first off, we work with the Education Minnesota Teachers Union. So if you know any teachers from high school, college, any of those teachers that have been most influential. And one of the biggest things I found out is cover up all of the other things that are down there. Because if you go through, they'll just kind of look there wide-eyed and they'll just say, oh my goodness, I know this and this, I don't know what nursery, I don't know any nurses or type of deal. So I cover them up and so I just kind of jog their memory. So are there any teachers from high school, college that kind of stand out in your mind that they really struck a nerve with you? If you could just write them down, that would be awesome. And just kind of go down the line. Next one that we work with, Minnesota Association of Realtors. I don't know if you bought a house recently, if any family members or people that you know bought a house, maybe they have some realtors that they work with. And once again, this is just to kind of jog your memory. I know there might be a million realtors that you know, but if you could put some that really stick out in your mind, that would be awesome. Write down a few names.
Sure, I know a realtor.
Next one that we work with is the Minnesota Chiropractic Association. So I don't know if, I know that you played basketball or whatever it might be, so I know that you might have had some aches or pains. I don't know if you've ever been adjusted. You hate chiropractors? You know a few? Awesome, awesome.
She might be drunk when you get there.
Hey, I'll make a note of that. I'll make a note of that. Maybe your family members have been adjusted, so on and so forth, going online. The Minnesota Nursery and Landscape Association we work with. I don't know if you had your yard just motor landscape, or maybe your neighbors or anything like that. Go online. Minnesota Medical Association. I don't know if you know any nurses, doctors.
She won't talk to me.
She won't talk to you?
She won't talk to you.
Who won't talk to you? And you just kind of keep on going down, and kind of you guys can kind of get the drift. Just kind of jog their memory as much as you can, whether it be neighbors, just kind of mention as much as you can, because if you just say nurses or teachers, they're like, oh, okay, and then they might just put one name, but really push for as many as you can. Maybe you have a brother that just got into it. I mean, just kind of go off of the things that you heard during the meeting. So maybe they tell you that their brother got into a car accident or something like that. Okay, so then when it gets to the Minnesota Medical Association, hey, I know your brother got into that accident. Did he have any doctors or nurses that he specifically dealt with, type of deal? And just keep on going online, make it really personal for them, really jog their memory. And then when I get to the back, I go through all of the kind of life events.
This is being tweaked slightly where we have the life events are going to be listed on the top.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I kind of did a little bit too, made up my own little thing as well. I kept the front, but really kind of put in the life events and kind of just jogged their memory of, all right, married, recently married, engaged, have young children, don't say have small children. Kind of went through that one. Where I said, hey, do you know anybody that has small children? Just pick your words wisely, I guess, and just go through the life events of maybe they just got their first job, just got a divorce, looking to buy a house, just recently bought a house. Small business owners, always throw that one in there. Maybe there's a mom and pop shop that they eat at once a week or something like that. Just things like that, and just try to get as much down. Then really set the stage of, I just like to joke around with them, it's like, and Max, I really just want you to know that I'm not going to sit here and call all of these people saying, hey, Max said to call you. Is there anything that we can do for you? No, we're going to make it as comfortable for you as possible. So whatever way we can go best about connecting me with these people. I just want to make sure that everything's comfortable for you. Just kind of setting the stage, because then they don't think that, hey, you're just going to be calling these people randomly and mentioning their name, and they might be willing to get more names that way. And that's kind of how I went about it. I don't know.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Derek as he went through that?
Have you been able to set, obviously, some pretty good appointments from all those?
Yeah. The hardest part for me is making sure, because I've gotten all of these referrals, making sure that I go back and really see if there's the best way to connect me. I mean, some of them just say, hey, come on over and I'll give you all of their numbers. And then some have said, hey, just send me an email and I'll forward it to these people. And it all kind of depends upon how comfortable they are. I've gotten 3. I called 50 last week, and I've gotten 3 of the referral meetings set for this week. So it's not a bad turnout, so to say. I was just talking with somebody at a grocery store, and they were like, oh, well, you look nice, and then they just all asked, what do you do, and stuff like that, and so I went into that. They're like, oh, I know this and this, that they just bought a house, and they were looking for this. Oh, great. Is there any way that you can, or just kind of go through that route? Especially if they're going to give them to you without you asking, those are the best ones to follow up with. But obviously you want to follow up with all of them, and just making sure that you can do it the proper way and the way that will get you in front of their face most efficiently, I guess is the way to go.
Yeah, the funnel system, I'm the old dog here, I guess, but the funnel system, we're all pouring it in up here, hopefully to get, the appointment down here. And I've been doing this a long time, and I have to discipline myself every week to try to go through all those leads then and try to see who's going to be ready this week to see me. So.
And even if they're not ready this week, at least you're going to plant the seed when you call them, so that if anything does come up, then they're going to think of you right away. Or just say, hey, would you mind if I touch base with you in about 2 weeks just to make sure that everything's going all right? And then you just kind of write in, okay, go right to your blue book 2 weeks from that day, call so-and-so. And also, one thing that really helped me is really planting the seed once you know that you have because we're all trying to get meetings on the books. Once you know that they're going to be on the books, you can really plant the seed of, all right, it's going to be just about 20 to 25 minutes, and this is almost like a first date. Also to see if show you the work that I do, and then also see if you can help me kind of with my business, so to speak, so that it's not like when you get in front of them, you're seeing if there's any way that you can help them, and then, okay, here comes the referral seed, and it's all, maybe they won't like that, but if you plant the seed on the phone, then it really helps from what I've experienced so far.
Other questions for Derek? What are little things that you picked up that Derek does?
Pick specific people clearly, as are listed here. So that way, jogging the memory. Otherwise, if you just ask for a referral, people are just gonna have no idea what they're thinking about.
Very specific. Yep.
That, and not just like anybody they know, but anybody, you brought up, like brother who got in a car crash or something, does brother know anyone? He just had to bring out different examples, you said. So it's not just.
Brilliant. Oh, making it personal, walking them through where they're supposed to go. So he was teaching them, he was guiding them the whole time.
Mhm.
It wasn't, hey, do you know somebody? Well, if you hit a trick, they gave them examples, taught them what to look for, and then he didn't let them see everything they were looking at so that he could move one step at a time. And then once he got to the step that he was there, it's like, okay, great, you knew a teacher. So what other teachers do you know? You know, do you have a buddy that's a teacher? Okay, great. Does he have somebody that may want to help? And then going through the life at the end is really great because you could, I mean, if I were to answer all those, you know, I'd be like, you can show up at school, you can show up at North Memorial with a tuna sandwich, it's her favorite, ask her by name, like, you know, don't tell her you know me. But if you got to the back, you know, and you go through life instances, yeah, you can always find people that way. So it's cool.
And I've seen him do it where he's like, okay, your daughter's a teacher. Or I know he had sports-related injuries, and they're like, oh yeah, I know a chiropractor. So, I mean, he plays along very nicely to not just say the chiropractor, but tries to link it to where they might think of somebody in their life. Other little takeaways.
Just dress nicely and go around the grocery store. They'll come.
Bump
Prospecting
your card
always.
into the 35.
No, that's the importance of being professional. You know, look great.
I mean, you stand out no matter
Exactly.
where you go.
Yeah.
So if you can go out of your way to hold the door for somebody, or maybe little Bernice can't reach the canned food up there that you can go grab for her, kind of do little things that kind of make. Yeah, I just came over with
Yeah,
it.
you see somebody stop on
We
the
just
highway
told
with
me
a flat tire.
And then one big point also to add is just kind of know your limitations, know how far to push, because you're pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, you're doing it the nicest way possible, but if you kind of feel somebody kind of getting uneasy, you're kind of like, I know we were out on one, me and Mike were out on one where I got 30 names, and he was like, all right, that's all I can think of for now. It's like, all right, perfect. And also thank them. Thank you so much for doing this for me. You're really taking, you're really helping me with my business. And hopefully I can sit down with these people and help them out just as I did with you, or just kind of, so to speak, just kind of show them your process. So,
And I think that's a key phrase he uses over and over and over is, would you be willing to help me build my business? And he looks people in the eye, and that's where they look at him and say they want to support him. I mean, I think is such a huge connection. I think as he started out, we've talked about this, the scripting that transition, right? Because he's not smooth, right?
No.
I mean,
not at all.
You should keep that.
but I think that's a nice touch, and it just shows that it's all those other things that are so important. As he becomes even more smooth, I think it'll even help even more. Adam?
I was just gonna ask, has anyone ever, and I just kinda thought of it when you were going through that there, to make it part of the conversation, to put the shoe on the other foot and say, you know, if you ever have questions or need introductions to people, you know, certainly I hope you consider me as a resource, and then walking them through, I mean, the areas that you're connected to, so you can, you know, act as a resource for them in that sense too. So
Yeah.
We do it all the time.
something to think about. How do you phrase that, I guess?
Well, a lot of times it'll be one of the rarities where I may, like, not